And unfortunately, as much as I am a Dane hater and would like to blame him for everything, winning leader, first year, enemy-ish to lovers, you killed my brother, no, you killed my brother. Turns out neither of them killed any brother. Speaking of brothers, and he was probably like, oh, Zayden would have been able to protect her. I'm gonna woo to the ground. Yeah. Theories. I have pages, and more pages. Because as per usual, the endings of Rebecca Yarros' books be having me fucked up. So before we can even get to the actual ending, let's talk about the Zayden ending that we all want to know. And forgive my handwriting. I used to write on my mother's chalkboard, but I haven't done that in a while because I'm old. Brother, right? Who is Zayden's brother that he's referring to? Now, I'm probably going to misspell things because I'm doing a speed run here. I have to do it all fast or I'm going to forget. My vote? Bodhi. I bet you're like, Tina, why are you so sure it's Bodhi? Let me tell you. Bodhi was seen on the ground getting sick by Imogen. Bodhi, now this is where the Lord comes in. Yarros, what? Jesus. And this is why I'm not a teacher. Rebecca Yarros once did an interview where she said Bodhi's Taylor Swift song is I Look in People's Windows. The song is very like envious of another life maybe, and you know what? She also said that Bodhi, if they were to go to a restaurant and Zayden order steak, Bodhi would order steak. So this feeds a lot of things. This whole entire time, Zayden's like, it's you, we're gonna lose Tyrandor, get your shit right, you're the heir, I'm already fucked. Right? Because, you know, he's a Venom. Cool. Great. And Bodhi's like, nah, bro, that's not me. But it is, though, because it's your family line. The reason it has to be Bodhi, not only does he see him getting sick, or does Imogen see him getting sick, or Imogen, whatever, see him getting sick, but he says, why would he do that? He has watched me go through this. The only people who have watched Zayden in his Venom transformation are Garrick, Bodhi, and Imogen. Garrick, I think he did the eggs because nobody else is going to get there without distance walking. I don't understand how else you get to the dragons and steal the eggs. Cool. Right? It could be him. We'll go into him next. But I'm like 98% 10 toes down on Bodhi. So it's that. What else is there? It's the fact, oh yes. And then of course the fact that he gives Violet Tyrandor. Why? Because when he's talking to Sigale, I think that's how you pronounce Zayden's dragon's name. I really should have done a Gaelic lesson before this. But when he's talking to Sigale, he said this is the only option. As in his marriage to Violet is the only option for them to keep Tyrandor. Because again, this whole book we're talking about, if Bodhi messes up, Tyrandor is washed. It's going to go back to the twisted royalty and Prince Halden is going to be in charge. And we already know that he's going to be a bad king because Arik's future sight told us that, which we'll get to him in a second. So Bodhi. And the only person who's a little like, I don't know, I think Garrick is too mentally like sound to make that kind of call. He's seen what it does. I don't think he would do it. Now, it could be Garrick because when we get to the end of the book, we notice 4 people are missing, right? And we've confirmed that Garrick is one of them, right? And we know obviously Zayden, Garrick. If you had to ask me who the other ones are, we know Imogen's was Violet right now. I would say Arik is still missing because, you know, he's doing whatever people who can not sell Raven into the future trying to save the world and shit makes sense. And then our new Venom brother Bodhi. And another thing is in this entire book, he made a point to describe Bodhi as his brother every single time. Like everybody knows you guys grew up as brothers. Brother. Another thing that really makes me think this is that his entire thing is not being useless, right? So when he went to go counter, what is her name? Theophanie's signet, he could not. And he was so sick that, who's texting me? Ooh, it's my man. He asked for a picture of me for his desk at work. I wonder if Zayden's gonna have a picture of Violet in his Venom headquarters. Anyways, these are definitely the 4 missing. Like I'm low-key not hearing any argument against that. And if it's anybody but these people, I'd be a little bit confused. The only other one that I would say is maybe not Arik, maybe it's Sloane. Now, this also gets into the new thing where there was so much talk about the 6. We've never seen the 6 signet since the beginning of the Great War. Clearly, this is the Great War happening all over again. Who do we think the 6 are? I I have a set answer, and I don't know how this is going to play out, and I could be very, very deadly wrong, but I'm pretty good at these things. Well, let me not say that, because next book gonna come out, we're gonna look at this like between that a simple thing, right? But the 6, I think this will be very relevant in the next book, and that Rebecca Yarros will confirm who the 6 are. So here's my interesting theory. At first, I thought it was based on like one person from each location, like the original 6. Incorrect. I think the 6 now are Xaden and Violet, which is like, duh, okay, we know that. But the other 2, y'all are going to be like, who is it? I think it's Garrick, because we know that distance walking is a big issue, or like a unique thing. It's a big issue for, whatchamacallit, for, you know, the Bascaya people, because they keep it hidden. Obviously, people be after their shit, you know, after their abilities and whatnot. So I think it's Garrick, and then I think it's Imogen, because she also has that rare, like, earth ability. And now my last 2 that I think are part of the 6 are Dane and Sloan. And now, if you notice something interesting about these people, they got a little something going on, they got a little something going on, and they got a whole lot of something going on. So I think that the 6 were 3 sets of mates, right? And that's supported by Tarn always talking about, oh, he's your mate, and Violet's like, bruh, I told you for like the 1000th time, we don't have mates as humans. And he's like, no, that's your partner. And Rebecca Yarros even describes their bond as a partner bond. So do I think that these 5 potentially have a partner bond? Yes. Garrick and Imogen, if you see when he was going to save her, and I keep changing this poor girl's name, but when he was going to save her, he was like, I refuse to leave you. Like, he could not leave her. And then, you know, their flirting has been happening since 4th Wing. They're like little banter and whatnot. But this book, it's really confirmed. Oh, well, not confirmed, obviously, but it's like headcanon confirmed that his feelings, he reciprocates her feelings, basically. They have a thing for each other. I think that it'll finally come to pass in these next 2 books. The one that sneaked up on us and came out of nowhere is this Dane and Sloan. Because so many things happen here. I think there's two really, really key moments in their relationship. The first is when she siphons his power in order to help Brennan save Mira. Oh, we'll get to him in a second. To help Brennan save Mira. She's like, no one person should have this much power. And we already know that his signet is classified. And I don't think we know the full extent of how deep his shit can go. Which makes me think that he's one of the 6. You know, like, why would he have that much power? There's something there. And then Sloan being a siphon, like, that's obviously incredibly important. They lost their last siphon, which was Nolan, I think is his name, Brennan's old partner, which I'll also get into again. I think he's connected to all of this, and I'm 99.9% sure he is a Bennett, and I have been from the start. Where am I? Let's go back to this. Him being the brother leads us back to Violet is now, oh yes, you know what, let's just make a whole section for Violet, because there's many things about her that we need to know. Violet, I think she is now either Venom or fully silver, at least. Because before he even noticed, Jesus, his handwriting is crazy. Before he even noticed the ring, he was like looking at her like, sister, why do you look like that? I think her hair is fully silver. She either finished her dedication or some type of venom magic impacted her, whatever. Cool. Now we also know confirmed that she is the Duchess, that's how you spell that, of Tyrrendor. And there's a note in the beginning saying that the leaders of Tyrrendor have basically always been a problem for them, the aristocrats there, and that they always end up wearing black, which again, even if it was Xaden, Bodhi, Violet, they're all riders, they're wearing black again. Problems. Now the other thing is about the balance. So I feel like the magic knew that Xaden was about to go full venom, because damn near before this big battle where it all happened, what's his face, some first year started manifesting shadows, which would have thrown me off. I'm like, is Xaden losing his power because he's becoming a venom? But no, Theophany says that Violet's mom was the response in the balance to her. So basically, I think once a venom manifests a signet like that, there has to be a rider who's going to manifest the counter. So magic knew, okay, Xaden's going all the way to the venom, now we need a rider who does shadows. Awkward. Problem. Will Violet be charged with training this young shadow wielder? Where does he come into play? I'm not really sure. I even forgot his name. But because of the whole balance thing, I know he's going to be important. Now, here's the other thing. Violet has Dune's blessing. Well, actually, I don't know. If she's venom, maybe not. But if she's fully silver, that does mean, oh yes, that she's fully dedicated. But I think that she has bonds to Dune, Malek, and the goddess of love, whatever the heck her name is, because they said that love and war can change a soul. Which brings me back to Xaden. I think that that's how she's going to be able to save him, right? Somewhere between one of the gods and her dedication. She said that she was touched by the gods, but I think she was touched, and I'm not really a fan of that phrasing, but whatever. She was touched by multiple, so she kind of has to choose her path now, right? Who's she gonna go for? And I think that'll determine basically how this all plays out. Maybe she's chosen by the gods in the way that she can be like touched by multiple. Maybe that's the case for all of the 6. I'm thinking, but I don't know. I think there's going to be something really important in this next book about Dane and Sloane, because they're literally Xaden and Violet regen. Like, winning leader, first year, enemy-ish to lovers. You killed my brother. No, you killed my brother. Turns out neither of them killed any brother. Speaking of brothers, let's go back to this brother thing. There are some other theories that I think can happen. Will I be happy about them? No, but they can happen. Let's go down them in a quick list. 2 in second place, I tie them. It's Garrick and Arik. So I think, I don't have the exact quote, but at some point, Imogen said that the ground around Garrick was fading, but that's because I think they were being pursued by the Venom. I don't think that Garrick was becoming a Venom or had accidentally channeled or anything. But sure, I'll leave it into the realm of possibility because he's missing and we don't exactly know who the brother is, right? Cool. Arik, the other theory that I saw online from, I don't even know who, a couple of people, was that basically he turned Venom because he knows that the king is not going to give a rat's ass about the cure unless it's personally affecting him. And if his son is a Venom, well, he's affected. So, okay, fair enough. And the other thing that supports that is that Arik has clearly seen his own death. He says that in the war that his brother will be a terrible king, which, duh, that doesn't necessarily mean foresight. Halden's terrible. But then he also says that he will most likely die protecting people. And we find out from the gifts that he gives Violet that he's basically foreseen this entire outcome way far ahead in the future. So he knows some shit that, like, none of us knows. And I'm like, damn, people are dying. Kat lost her man. Quinn is dead. And you didn't want to tell nobody way back when. But I guess it's one of those things, you know, with anybody who can see in the future. Usually in fantasy books, there's something with, like, the threads of time. So if he were to manipulate a little too much, I think he'd probably just make it worse. Which, fair. This one pisses me the fuck off. They said it's Liam. Now, I have 2 reasons why I don't like this. One, Rebecca said that once somebody is dead, they're dead, right? Like, she's not bringing people back. Now, they did slit Mira's throat and bring her back. So, Rebecca, I kind of feel like you're lying to me, but that's fine. You know, Liam would really hurt because the only way that it could be Liam is if he never actually died, because Violet didn't go to his funeral. He never actually died, right? And he was kept in that little armor from Tyrandor as like a little preserved Venom. But that doesn't make sense to me because then how was Violet hallucinating him, which really felt like him? I think that him being there was a gift from Malek. And, like, her touch from him is what allowed, like, it was a gift, basically. He's like, oh, like, you know, you're my chosen one. Let me show you your friend in this time of dire need, which he wouldn't be able to do if he wasn't, you know, in the dead man's realm. Speaking of the realm, back to Violet we go. The compass. Broken? Methinks not. I think the compass does 2 things. It either, A, will lead her right back to Xaden, or B, it's going to lead her and we're going to do like a From Blood and Ash kind of thing where we're really going to go into the realms of the gods. Because they became way more prevalent in this book. And like, yes, like, you know, they mentioned them over and over again in the other one. But like this time, we're getting into the lore and how they intervene. Like, for example, the only reason they were able to get married is because that priestess of Dune owed Xaden a favor. Which is why Arik said they had to save the temple in order for them to get married. Which means they could keep Tyrandor. This is what really got me. I'm going to see if I can find the clip. I deleted already. When I finished that book, I was like, what do you mean it's over? Imogen says what you asked me to, and boop, the book is done. What the fuck did she ask? Clearly, it was about her memories. Now, there's a theory that Onyx Storm is so jumpy, which I do think it was jumpier in the rest of the books. Now, nobody's brain is perfect. I can't tell you what I ate for breakfast last week. So I don't, you know, I can't blame Violet's memory for being so foggy, like she's going through a lot of trauma, but I feel like it was extra foggy. So there is a chance that Imogen was really, you know, erasing her memories the entire time because it's clear that, oh yes, there we go. It is clear that Xaden and Arik were planning something this entire time. Like when they wanted to go let Halden die, Xaden was like, nah man, I got loyalties. And Arik knew, oh y'all need to get married. He told Violet to make sure the Dune priestess were safe because he knew that that's the only way they could get married and save Tyrandor. So clearly they have been scheming something, and I think that Violet was like involved, but not involved in the traditional sense of like she's doing the planning and she's doing things. I think she's involved, but they don't want her to be implicated, so they basically erased anything that any of the people at Bascaya could get from her to, you know, burn her or whatever, which is, oh God, that brings us to Andarna. I will not let them burn you. Why? And you know what, let's go to red for that, because that's a real question. Why are they burning Violet? Burn? Like, burn is crazy. So I think there's two things to that. It's either her signet was discovered, right? Because, you know, they like to burn the onystics, and dream walking is some scary shit. So that could be it. Or she might look venom, or they think she's a traitor and they want to prove it. Now this is the one that's getting me, because if they think she's a traitor, that brings us back to this. Are they going to try to use Dane to get into her memories? Now, Imogen's talking about, I did what you asked me to. Isn't she implicated then for erasing those memories in those 13 hours? That I'm a little bit confused about, but I don't think they know about her mind powers. I don't think they know that she has anistic powers. What else? What is Tarn resting for? I think that so many things happen. So if Xaden is gone, right, let's get into the dragon. Oh God, the dragon lore, the dragons. There's Tarn and Sagail, right? I think that their mate bond broken, right? It has to be. Either they broke the mate bond, or they broke Violet's bond with Tarn, but she said that she still felt him in like a hazy way. So either their bond was broken or diluted, but I think what really happened is his bond had to be broken with Sagail, because how else was she supposed to disappear with Xaden when they know that they cannot be apart? I think that what this really has to do with is Xaden trying to figure out the issues with the wyverns. So I'm going to put the wyverns next to the dragons over here. And why? Because the wyverns had all kinds of smoke that matched the dragons. We've had green. We've had red. I think there's been blue. But what we haven't seen is black or brown. And they stole dragon eggs. So I think that the dragons in Sagail are out. Sagail, I cannot say that name. Are out basically on a mission to go to the venom, figure out why the wyverns fire directly correlate to the different dens of dragons, and then figure out if there's a secret army of black or brown dragons that we just don't know about. Or maybe they're trying to create one through the eggs. I'm not really sure. Did I cover everything? Let's check the notes. Let's check the notes. This is the only way. That's Bodhi in the bloodline. Tarn went with Sagail for a long-term plan. Yes. Oh, I will not let them burn you because she's a Mystic. And Darna. Oh, yeah. Did Andarna even go anywhere? First of all, they made it seem like it was going to be years until she came back, right? She left. We're heartbroken. She lost her dragon. And we get to the end. Violet. She's back. This time passed differently in the sky. People are trying to figure out where the Onystics live. Not the Onystics, sorry, the Irids live. The Irids, we know, draw their power from the sky. This might be the One Piece fan in me, but I think that the dragons do not live on any of the isles. If they do, it would be the North Isles maybe, that nobody ever discovered, since the isles aren't on the map. But I think it would be fucking sick if the dragons, the Irids, lived, and we're gonna draw it just like One Piece. This is a cloud. Pretend that's a cloud. Oh, that was supposed to be blue, but in a sky island. Maybe they can draw from the sky because that is their natural habitat, and maybe that's why the timing felt so odd and why Andarna was able to get back so quickly, because they kind of just went up versus having to really travel and go anywhere. They went up, up, up. And there's maybe some type of maybe their fire or something kind of opens the gateway. I don't know. But I think there's a way. I think it's something like that, because if not, how the fuck does Andarna get back to Violet that quickly? I don't know. And clearly the Venom wants the Irids so badly, and I think it's because of the sky powers. So we know that the venom draw from the earth, draw from the ground. Cool. I think that they realize they're going to wipe the whole bottom of the earth clean, and they want to go up top and drain the skies as well. And that's why the Irids are like, okay, yeah, fuck it. Maybe they should just drain the ground, because they don't give a fuck about the ground. They're all the way up there. They just left everybody else behind, which would make sense, because it doesn't make sense otherwise why this peaceful breed of dragons, they're all about peace, and they think Andarn is a weapon, and they've all messed it up, and they failed the test. Why would you not care that the whole earth is about to be wiped out? Why? Because it's not earth to them. The earth to them is actually in their little Skypia, on their Sky Island. I'm going to keep calling it Skypia because that's the only Sky Island I know. We're forgetting one big connection. Now this one, I don't know if I have a theory, but the dragons do not worship these gods. Why? I have no fucking clue, honestly. But who do they worship then? Do they worship the Irids? No, because the Irids were said to have left the continent with all the other dragons. So it can't be that those are the gods. I don't know. But I think there's a big connection between the Irids, the gods, and the venom. That's as far as I've gotten. Do the dragons view themselves as gods? Were the dragons once aligned with the gods and the gods failed them, and that's how we have venom? There's so many things that could go on there, and I think I'm just going to be wondering until Rebecca Yarros picks up that pen again. Oh, you know what? Now there's another version of this theory that they're the balance for them, as in they both go dark side. Rebecca Yarros did confirm that Xaden is going to go dark side. She also said that Xaden and Violet's song is So It Goes by Taylor Swift, and I don't have the whole lyric in front of me, but it's basically like, oh, I'll do bad things when I'm with you. Has Violet been doing some terrible shit? Oh, and the other reason Tarn could be sleeping is I think that he was involved with killing those dragons. Because how else did you kill those dragons? Now, it's the Elder Dragon, so maybe it's Melgren's dragon. I think he might be dead. I'm not really sure who. Oh my god, I knew I forgot something huge. Okay. Yes. Now we get back to the Burn, the Traitor, the Venom, and Dane and Sloan. So this is a whole other category. Brennan. I think a betrayal is coming. You know, it's romantasy. Somebody's going to get betrayed. And who's going to do it? It's either going to be Dane or Brennan. Now, I feel like Mr. Dane has betrayed us before. We know that he, he'll go digging in your mind. He does not know how to mind his business. However, he is looking at Daddy Atos a little sideways these days. He's like, nah, man, something's not right with him. And I agree. I think Daddy Atos is either a very high-powered secret Venom, or he's at least in cahoots with said Venom. Now, there has to be somebody who is even on the rebellion side that's in cahoots with the Venom too, because why did Theophany know all of Violet's plans? And unfortunately, as much as I am a Dane hater and would like to blame him for everything, I think it's Brennan. I think this is going to be the big betrayal. Why, you ask? I'm glad you did. The problem is actually with Sloan. Because when Sloan siphoned energy from Dane to give to Brennan to save Mira, he didn't get a mark. However, he does have a rune tattoo from Nolan saving his life, meaning that the process should involve some form of marking, unless that marking is him being linked to Nolan somehow. Now, I do love the idea that they have a little romance and that's his lover, but I hate the idea that it's because it's his lover that he's going to betray Mira and Violet. It's a really interesting theory from a podcast that I'm forgetting, but it mentioned that the rune tattoo or Brennan might actually be, and you know what, we haven't heard this one yet, so this is huge, a communication rune. And that's how all the Venom know everything, and they're like always 2 steps ahead, because he's communicating with them through that rune, and they can find, well, Nolan. He's communicating with Nolan, who's actually telling the Venom everything. Now, the bigger question is Brennan aware of what his rune is doing? I want to say no, but that is the hopeful in me. Brennan did disappear and basically leave his sisters for dead for years, so it might be that he is aware, unfortunately, that, his rune is basically ruining the world. Oh, let's finally get to the end. What I think we're gonna... Damn, I don't got no space. You know what? Let's just make a little bubble over here. What I think we're gonna get in the next book that I am beyond excited for. As much as I hate Dane, we're gonna get Dane and Sloan, because she said, I'm gonna hurt you, and he said, gods, don't I know it. Uh-oh. I sniff a romance. Now, what else are we gonna get? Where's My Wife from Mr. Xaden. Why do I say that? Remember, in one of the other books, I think it was Iron Flame, they said that Xaden is going to tear down the wards for love. So first they said he's going to make, or no, in this one they emphasized that he's going to make the wrong choice for love, and he did. He did it when he saved Violet, and he did it again to save Sigale from the Venom. He channeled and became a full Venom himself. Now, he has not torn down the wards. If he's going to tear them down, I think it's because of this. So either he'll betray them, and Violet is going to be in there, but it's not going to be safe for her in there. He's going to learn something that's going to be like, oh shit, Basgiath is even worse off than I thought, and he's going to tear down the wards with a Where's My Wife moment. That's all I can think of, because if not, I don't see why he's tearing down the wards at this point. Sir, you are already abandoned. Let it go. You have no business in them parts. But we do know that Xaden and Violet are endgame. Now, what I think would be funny is Xaden said, don't look for me, it's yours now. But he's an idiot. The whole book is him talking about, you're so stubborn, I can't get you to listen to me, I'm well the fuck aware, you do whatever you want. Why would you tell that girl to not look for you? You like, she's literally just going to do the opposite. So Rebecca Yarros might confuse us and hit us with not confuse us, but hit us with a little flip-flop of a, where's my husband? Because honestly, I would be so fucking pissed. I woke up and we're married, you didn't want to tell me that? You erased it from my memory? Our fucking wedding? Are you crazy? Especially how much they love each other. Now, we all know that Violet likes to turn Xaden's things around. And in the beginning of the book, in, Romantice's ways, I think it was the fourth way, he was like, there is nowhere in this world you can go that I wouldn't find you, basically. Violet's going to hit him with that. And it's either going to be because of where's the compass? The compass, or it's going to be because of their partner bond. Do we agree? Do we have other theories? Did I miss something that is important? What do we think? This is the result of all of my looking. It's a mess, but I need this next book to be written expeditiously. Sorry that my handwriting, I carried in the beginning, y'all could see, and then it just kind of started going as my brain's been going. But this has literally been my brain for the past couple of weeks. I will show y'all up close in a bit. But thank you for riding with me. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think it's Bodhi. Let me know if you think it's Garrick or Arik or Liam. I'm honestly really curious to see everybody's reasons and why. Because to me, it literally can't be anybody other than Bodhi. Oh, also, I look in people's windows is really making me concerned that Bodhi might have a secret little thing for Violet, which would make sense with the flight jacket situation. It would also make sense with Xaden being like, oh, don't make me kill my only living relative. Yes, they have like that brother-sister love, and it's in other books too, like we see this trope, but he might secretly harbor something a little bit more, and Xaden probably saw it through his intentions, which is why he has been reacting like that. Which would also bring why he went Venom, because when he was unable to protect Violet in that moment, he really felt like the most useless piece of sugar honey iced tea. And he was probably like, oh, Xaden would have been able to protect her. I'm gonna to the ground. Yeah. That's how I see it all happening. I don't think that's good. But anyways, tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think is happening. Tell me if I missed the interview that is going to give me some information. Oh, yes, I do want to say, I know we've had this theory that Violet's mom was Venom when she was pregnant with Violet. I don't think it was Lilith. I think it was Asher. I think Asher is not dead. And I think Asher either has some Venom properties or something happened, or maybe Violet, when she was a baby, accidentally channeled from the ground, and that's why he went through the dedication to try to save her. But I think the Venom connection is absolutely coming from Asher and not Lilith. I think the Venom connection in Basgiath was Dane's dad. Daddy Atos is the one that's dealing with that. It was never Lilith. That's all my theories down. Finally. Yes. There you go. All right. Thank you for coming to this class at Basgiath. Let's see in a couple of years if we're dead fucking wrong and this is hilarious, or maybe I'm an mystic. Huh?